What is going on, everybody? It's your boy TDUB back at again with a brand new video with the 636. Today we're going to be installing the TST low mount tail tidy. I already have an Amazon tail tidy that I made another video on, but I decided that I want it tucked a little bit more, make the rear end look a little cleaner. Also, I got the smoked tail light from TST, and I also got the flasher relay so that we don't have any hyper flash issues. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. This is what the Amazon tail tidy looks like with the stock tail light. With the new mount, the license plate's going to be down here up against the tail, and then we'll have that smoked tail light. Super excited. For those that want a step-by-step tutorial for this tail tidy, I'll put a video on the top right corner right now. Please ignore the mess in the garage. That is extra wrap for my truck. That is my brother's old R6 fairings. And those are the new parts that we're about to put on this rig. Try to ignore that. Let's continue. First things first, put your key in here, turn it, pop the driver's seat off. Under the driver's seat, you'll see this little tab. You'll just pull it and you'll be able to remove the passenger seat. This is a size 4 hex bit. It came with this, but I also have another set. That's how I know what size it is. It's size 4. There are gonna be 4 of these plastic tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push the center of them in. And then you can just pull them out with your hands. Now we have these 6 bolts, same size. Now these top 4 come with little washers. These bottom 2 don't, so keep that in mind. I have drills, but I prefer to use hand tools. Just remember, these bottom 2 don't come with washers. The rest of them have this little plastic washer. The plan is we're gonna take off this gray piece. It goes all the way down here. I'll show you the bottom. It's easier to start back here. There's plastic fastening tab, so we're gonna work on getting that out. The rest of it are little plastic pins with a rubber grommet that we'll have to just slowly pop out. Kind of work with it, pull it straight out. Just like that, this piece is out. That's the little pin I was telling you about, and then there's little circle rubber grommets like this one right here that they pop into. Ignore this white wire. It's aftermarket wiring that me and my buddies did. So if you see it in the rest of this video, please ignore it. So if you push the tail down just a little bit, this will pop up and then you can pull it straight out. And these OEM plastics are pretty strong. I mean, knock on wood. Don't be afraid to give them a little bit of pressure. That's the rubber grommets that I'm talking about. Now you're gonna get a Phillips head. There's a plastic fastener here. There's an identical one on the other side. We're gonna pop that off. This plastic piece is gonna come off after that. If you have a stock exhaust, you're still gonna have the cables that run down to the muffler. So just keep in mind that the cables are gonna be ran in these plastics. They're little plastic tabs. You can pop it open, move the cables to the side to remove this piece. This is the threaded little fastener. All right, got that removed. So if your bike is completely stock, you're gonna have a big servo here. There's gonna be a 10mm fastening it here and a 10mm here. That's going to remove it. It'll have the cables that are running down to your muffler. My bike, I have a servo buddy, so I was able to remove it without having a check engine light. For the people that are curious, I bought mine off of Amazon. It was 20 bucks and I've had 0 problems. Since my tail tidy is aftermarket, these are going to be 10mm. I believe the stock bolts are hex bolts. I don't know the size, but if you have a whole set of hex bits, I'm sure you will be able to figure it out. So if your bike is completely stock, you're going to have 4 hex bolts, and then in here there's going to be 2 Phillips head screws. The next step, we're just going to pop this harness clip open. We're going to start unplugging our tail light. This is the servo buddy I was telling you about. I highly recommend. It's 20 bucks and it does the job. All right, got everything unplugged. We're going to loosen these nuts and bolts and remove the license plate bracket and blinkers. Just like that, slide right out. Just kind of fish these out. And just like that, we have the Amazon tail tidy removed. Right here is the main plug for the brake light. So we're just gonna get needle nose pliers, pinch that, pop that out and unplug it. Flip it over, this little push tab, push it in right here and pop it out. Then we're gonna run it up. There's a Phillips screw here and a Phillips screw here. These are the main screws for the taillight. But first, we need to loosen these 2 Phillips screws, pop off this little plastic tail, these 2. After that, we'll be able to push from the bottom up and then work the stock taillight out. Remove that plastic piece. There's this bracket, those 2 little screws go on each side. Now, like I said, just put your hand on the back side, push up. Where these main screws are, there's little rubber grommets, same situation. You just gotta push it up to get it out. And then just kind of work with the plastic and fish the stock taillight out. Boom. Here's a little comparison for y'all. The stock versus the TST. It includes the connections for the blinkers and brakes, as the stock is just the brake. Don't forget to move these rubber grommets over to the TST tail light. Once you have those rubber grommets in, I just kind of like to spin them, make sure they're seated properly. So now we're gonna just do everything in reverse order. Just rewind back in the video if you forgot any steps. Cool little feature about this tail light. There's a button here. There's 9 different modes that you can change for the tail light. Super cool, and a big selling point is it's already pre-wired. It's just all around a really cool modification for your 636. All right, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I got kind of confused and a little concerned about the harness. So long story short, this is a 2026, so the plugs are a little different from whatever video they have on YouTube on the TST. So this main plug goes to the main brake line. These black clips are for this black and blue. So let's plug it in and see what we can figure out. All right, I turned the key and the blinkers are backwards. It definitely has the hyper flash issue, so I'm glad I paid 20 bucks for the hyper flash fuse. It's so cool how a click of a button you can change whatever sequence you want. That button I showed you is right there. Obviously it's hyper flashing right now. I'll go ahead and tidy all this back up and I'll show you where to install that relay. Completely installed the tail light, cleaned up all the wiring, and put the blocker plate from TST. And that's how you install the blocker plate. You just tighten these 5 nuts that are provided, plug everything in, clean it all up, pop that back in, and then put your plastics back on. But I'm putting on the license plate bracket, which you need to loosen this bolt, and there's a matching one on the other side. The bracket will slide in between the plastic and the fairing and the back side, and then you will bolt it to these bolts. Nut here with a hex bolt. You can see on the other side, it is a size 5 for each side. This is size 10 socket. All right, so obviously my plate is flipped, but this is just to give you a rough idea of what the low mount looks like. You'll have to push from the bottom, this plastic. You'll have to push it up because it's holding the weight of the battery, just to align the holes. It's really not hard. I just didn't record it because it took me probably 5 to 10 seconds to do both of them. Just if you want it lower or higher, I'm just gonna do higher, less chance of getting pulled over, but it is personal preference. Then your low mounted license plate tail tidy is finished. This is the LED flasher relay. You can pop off this little gray plastic piece. Inside there's a little motherboard with a little toggle piece. You can turn it up to flash faster, turn it down to flash slower. I'm just gonna leave it how it came and then see how it turns out. But first step, we need to remove the battery. You take out the 2 10mm that's holding in the terminals. There's this support bracket. There's gonna be a bolt here and a bolt on the other side. They're 10mm. And then there's a fastening bolt right there, 10mm. You're just gonna remove it out of the way and take the battery out. And try not to scratch your tank. Once you remove the battery, right in here, you're just gonna pick it up. It's just like sleeved onto that little bracket in there. This is what we want to take out. There's this little rubber piece that we're gonna reuse just so the new relay stays snug in there. Just like that, we have it slid on to the new relay. So let's plug it in and put the battery back in and then test the blinkers and make sure that the speed is okay. I just reconnected the battery real quick. Just turn the key. Upwards angle to avoid the license plate, but you have that. It's kind of like a flashing. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera settings. It's just a slow hazard blink. I like the sequential. Let's see what it looks like just the blinker. It's kind of flashing like a construction truck. That's just regular blinker. I'm a big sequential guy. I might leave the sequential. Yeah, I'm a sequential guy. For anyone wondering, I did not change the dial on the relay. I just left it how I bought it. This will give you a better idea of the tail tidy with the blinker. I love it. It looks so slick. Like this part right here of it just being smooth and nothing sticking out and down. Oh, it just looks slick. Super stoked. Let's throw it all back together and see the final product. That is it for today's video. Don't forget to test out your brake light and change the settings for that too. To change the setting for the brake light, just make sure you're using the brake, click the button, and then go through the sequences. I think there's 4, and then the blinkers, there's 4, so 8 in total. If you want to change the blinker sequence, make sure the blinkers are on, click click the button, kind of go through all the sequences. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions of like any specific thing, leave them down in the comments. My Instagram is TDUB71. Post my truck on there. I post this on there. Sometimes my Grom clone. And I just, I just kind of post whatever. But YouTube is a big hobby of mine. I've been wanting to do it for a living for a very long time. So I'm working towards that day by day. I hope this helped out at least one person. Every install video, if I get like one comment that says, hey dude, I was stuck on this, thank you so much. That is the goal. So again, friends, family, if y'all are still here, thank you for watching. If you're brand new here, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, stick around, and we have nothing but good things coming. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.